Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the next video. I have no idea what number it is because it's been 3 months since I made my last one, at least 3 months. I'm going to go ahead and discuss the Meek Gnosis as I know it so far. Probably going to ramble a little bit too much. Without saying too much, I'm going to try and keep this pretty short and sweet. I'm off for the next couple of weeks, but I'm actually going to go see some family. So I'm not going to be recording, and I'm not going to be working too much on my book either. Tentatively called the Meek Bible right now. Still saying, let's go ahead and dig into this, the Meek Gnosis. So what's the big idea? It breaks down like this. It seems to be, if you listen to the great teachers, and if you talk to people and listen to the thoughts that are in your own mind, everyone always has the same questions like, who are we? What are we doing here? Why are we here? How long are we here? What happens after this? What happened before this? Another good question. All of this seems to stem from the same source, and that is consciousness. So the Meek Gnosis is the understanding that we are here to, I'm not sure you can say experience consciousness or learn how to control consciousness or understand consciousness perhaps, but consciousness seems to be the primary concern of all the great teachers, and it's the primary concern of the Meek Gnosis. Learning how to enjoy life with this tremendous burden that we call consciousness. Next part is we seem to be in some sort of space that is not what our scientists and whatnot seem to tell us that it is. I think we don't understand where we are, and I don't think we're meant to understand. The Meek Gnosis combines Eastern and Western philosophies, Judeo-Christian, Buddhism, heavily influenced from the Tao. But another one is the Coburn Bible. Line 1, Book 1 is critical. I'm not going to say it word for word, but basically it says that we've been saddled with these desires to understand things that are beyond our understanding, beyond our limitations, beyond our ability. We're always going to have this desire. But every time we go down that path, it leads to madness. This is a critical understanding of the nature of what it means to be a human being. And the two great examples of this is the microscope and the telescope. We look down inside a telescope and attempt to view the micro. And we think we have stories that explain what's going on. We understand what's happening, and this is why this happens to people and whatnot. Fact of the matter is, the people who stare down microscopes are mad. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have absolutely lost all grips on what it means to be a human being. They have gone down a hole into a world that they are not built to understand. And the same is true of those who stare at the telescope. They try and understand these other places that are out there and the distances between and what they're made of, and is there other life out there and this and that, and these people have also driven themselves mad. They are engaging in activities they are not built to understand. So, plank 1, consciousness, trying to live with this burden. Plank 2 is we are a limited being. We have our 6 senses or whatever. They are limited. We can only see what's in the visual spectrum of light. Anything outside of that, we can invent machines that can see beyond that, but we do not understand it. This avatar that we reside within, that we are tethered to, that we view this world through, whatever it is, however it works, cannot understand these other images. And yes, we can tell ourselves stories on what they are and how it works. But they're just stories that you cannot understand. And once you understand them, or if you believe you do, you have now entered a world that is no longer human. The human being has a spectrum of light, sound, smell, touch. Our only understandings come from within this space. We are limited beings. So plank 2 is we are limited beings, saddled with consciousness, learning how to live with this tremendous burden, tremendous gift. The third plank. This place is filled with other entities. I call them lesser gods and angels and demons, but these are literally just your thoughts, your emotions, love, fear, hate, hunger, sexual desire. All these things can take over you. They constantly are talking to you. Thoughts just pop into your head. These entities seem to feed off of us. It's like in the Matrix, we are the battery that runs the whole thing. An observation appears to be that our attention seems to be the energy that drives this place, but that's just an observation. But part of the Meek Gnosis is guard your attention. It seems to be that what we give our attention to feeds it. Think of something like a war. If one person just wanted to go to war, it's not going to happen. But if you can get millions and millions of people to feed their attention onto this thing and this idea and this concept or whatever, this transgression, and let it fuel other entities within them, they will be possessed by this demon of war. And war happens. But without the attention, it never happens. A few years ago, we had a medical situation happen. All these entities were vying for your attention. Pay attention to this, this, and that, and you have to do this and that. And everyone started paying attention. And this entity grew. It was fed by the attention of our fellow human beings. Our attention is another plank. The angels and demons of this are another plank. We are limited beings, saddled with consciousness. Other entities vying for our attention, and our attention seems to be some sort of valuable currency. So, what's the solution? What's the answer? Well, I've always proposed becoming meek. You see, we are limited beings, and we receive information within limited spectrums. They're called our senses, or you can call them your sensors. Your sensors have a range where they function well. Health keeps your sensors clean. Health gives you the best information that allows you to reasonably control your limited being. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you're a parent. If you're in tremendous pain, it is very difficult to be a good parent. It's very difficult to be a good partner. It's difficult to be a good employee or employer. It's terribly difficult to be a creator of the good if your body is constantly in pain, or if you're constantly desiring substances, or if you're constantly desiring sexual experiences and these types of things. The reason why all the great teachers have preached limiting your desire for these things is because they will take over you, and it will limit your ability to thrive in this space. You cannot handle the burden of your consciousness if these things are in charge of who you are, whatever that means. So, we believe in being profoundly healthy. The healthier you are, the greater chances you have at attaining whatever goal, whatever experience this place is supposed to be. And the same goes mentally. Now, I usually don't like to separate mental health from physical health because they are the same thing. But mental health is learning to quiet the thoughts within your mind and understanding that they're not your own, that your emotions are not your own. When you become angry, that anger is not you. That is another entity that has taken over your being and is driving your car. So learning to control this is another plank of the Meek Gnosis. So we're limited beings saddled with consciousness. We have all these entities vying for our valuable attention. And we flourish by becoming mentally, spiritually, and physically healthy. We understand that we can only become unhealthy by becoming injured. Again, that introduces pain. It exposes your avatar to other entities. If you have dead and dying tissue within you, bacteria will come. They're there to clean up the dead and dying tissue. They're not fighting you. They're not against you. They're actually trying to help you. They have a job and they're going to do their job. You can become poisoned. There are plenty of poisonous things in this world that will injure you, or you can become malnourished. If you don't eat properly and you don't give yourself the nutrients necessary to keep this avatar healthy, that malnourishment will then eat at you and make it far more difficult for you to learn to properly carry this burden of consciousness. That's where the concept of the word meek comes from. And I have a video on this, but it's a war horse, a Greek war horse, and they go out and they get these wild stallions, and one guy would break it, and the horse would only allow the one person to ride it. This is what to be meek means. It means that you are undomesticated. Society is another lesser god that is attempting to control you and ride you and vie for your attention. That's a thought. But by maintaining our nature, understanding that we have a true nature to who we are, which is that limited being, understanding that we need to sleep, that we need friends and family, that we need loved ones, and that we need to be guarded in what we allow into our mind, understanding our nature, being true to our nature and undomesticated, but allowing the one to ride us, which is truth. The true light, understanding and being able to see the one true light and understanding that you have to be undomesticated. Otherwise, you can be saddled by, say, safety. You will surrender your whole entire life to safety when the warhorse enters battle willingly. So, in brief, that is the Meek Gnosis. Consciousness. We are limited. We're called to look into places that we do not understand. We have entities that are vying for our attention, constantly distracting us and pulling us. In the story of Cain and Abel, they say, sin lies at your door. Sin lies at the door of every human being. That means there are thoughts within your mind that are always there that are like, hey, you can go this way, or think about this, or let's go do that, or this doesn't matter, whatever. These are not your thoughts. and they will always be there. We'll always want to know what's on the other end of the telescope or the microscope or whatever, or what's over the hill. This calling, this nature is always there. But we understand that this is the path to madness, as the Coburn Bible puts it. And the only way we can fight back against all these entities vying for our attention is to maintain our health, mental, spiritual, physical health. Truly focused on this. Truly focusing on just the life around you. Walk out your door. That is your world. You have all these devices, all these media that will constantly attempt to pull you to another world that is not yours. That world wants your attention. Focus your attention upon your world, upon your life. Make life grow in your space. Feed the life in your space. Feed the health in your space. This is how we flourish with consciousness. And perhaps we'll understand what comes next. What does it mean once we actually flourish with this thing? I guarantee you no one's flourishing right now. Feels like a burden to everybody. But I think it's part of the cycle of this place, of which we will never understand. So with that, my friends, become healthy. Understand what the human being really is. I'll just give one word of advice. We are not carnivores. We are the exact opposite. And that is difficult for people to understand. I try and explain to people that we are clearly plant-based. And it's so staggeringly clear. But people say, I can't give up this. I can't give up that. I need this. I need that. Yeah. We are all possessed by other entities. It's just, that is literally it right there. Try and tell someone that they can't have their steak, and you'll see someone who is definitely possessed by something that is not themselves. We are beings that walk. I don't know why I'm giving health advice, but I'm going to give some health advice. And we must move. We are the most profound walkers that there are. So we must move our body. We must fuel it properly with good, clean, plant-based nutrition. Hopefully from your own backyard would be best. You must build a family. You must sleep properly. Turn your Wi-Fi off at night. Turn your cell phones off at night. Keep them out of your room. Don't look at them for the last hour or two. Don't listen to people like me on these stupid things. Again, I'm here to record these things so I can figure out what's going on in my life, so that my children can understand who I am as a person. If I can help someone, that is absolutely fantastic. But I understand I have a limited ability. You have a limited ability. If I can strike some sort of truth within you, that is beautiful. But once you have the truth struck within you, you have to feed that. And that is through your health. And learning to control your attention and understand that your attention is so valuable. You have no idea how valuable it is. I'm going to leave it on this concept of do we have free will? I made a video on this also, but no, we really kind of don't. The only free will that you have is that which you pay attention to. That's it. And you're going to have all these entities pulling you. But at its very, very core, you do get to choose. It's just going to be harder to choose some things over others. Yeah, we're going to have to leave it there, I believe. So with that, my friends, we're here to learn to thrive within consciousness. We're limited. We have all these entities vying for our attention. Our attention is powerful and necessary. It is creative within this space. Remember that your attention created a medical situation. Your attention creates war. Children are brutally mutilated because of your attention thousands of miles away. Your attention is powerful. And the only way to control your attention and your consciousness is by maintaining health and learning to hear the one true light, the one true truth. And no one can tell you what that is. It's the narrow path, and few will find it. But if you do not gain your health mentally, spiritually, and physically, you never will find it. With that, my friends, I will see you on the next one. Until then.